Hi friends, this is my third video. Obstetrics references William Obstetrics 24th edition. So we already saw overview of obstetrics and maternal anatomy and physiology. In that we saw maternal anatomy. Today we are going to see maternal physiology. In maternal physiology, we are having reproductive tract, breast, skin, and it goes on. So today, we are going to see what are the changes occurring in maternal body due to pregnancy. Okay, so that we are going to see different system. First of all, reproductive tract. So our uterus is known thin wall muscular organ. So it has sufficient space to accommodate the fetus, placenta, as well as amniotic fluid. Usually, the weight of the normal uterus is only 60 grams, but due to pregnancy, the weight get increased, which is 1100 grams. The myocyte arrangement or uterine musculature has three strata or three layers. First one is outer hood-like layer. Second one is the middle layer, which composed of dense network of muscle fibers perforated in all directions by blood vessels. And third is the internal layer. Okay. So during pregnancy, the uterine size is almost globular. Okay. So at the 12 week of gestation, it goes mostly like a spherical shape. Okay. So we all know that during pregnancy, uterus enlarges. So what happens is it displaces the intestines laterally as well as superiorly. So almost ultimately it reaches up to the level of the liver. Okay, uterine contractility. We call it as Braxton Hicks, which is also known as false labor, which can be seen during the 12 weeks of pregnancy or when we are going towards the what labor time. Uteroplacental blood flow. Usually, the blood flow increases during pregnancy. Why? Because there is a growing fetus, growing placenta, and the uterus is enlarging. So, to accommodate all this, the blood flow get increased. So, the estimated range is 450 to 650 milliliter per minute. So, the uteroplacental blood flow is increased due to vasodilation of blood vessels, and vasodilation is due to the estrogen stimulation. Now we come to cervix. So generally during after the 1 month after the conception, the cervix undergoes softening as well as cyanosis. Okay, so there is a eversion of the proliferative columnar endocervical glands of the cervix. So what will happen? Due to the eversion, there is a tend to the what? Velvety and bleedy. Even with the minor trauma, it used to bleed. Okay, so then we're having endocervical mucus cells, which produces copious herbaceous mucus. So these mucus are rich in immunoglobulins as well as cytokines. Okay. In most pregnant women, the cervical mucus is characterized by poor crystallization or bleeding. But in some cases of women, aerobolization or crystals of burning is observed. Why it is observed? Due to the leakage of amniotic fluid. In this picture, we can see the furning of the cervical mucus or furning of the amniotic fluid. Okay. Pelvic organ prolapse. We all know that the uterus rises above the pelvis during pregnancy and which may also draw the cervix with it. Okay. What are the symptoms? Symptoms may develop between 10 to 14 weeks. Okay. If there is a prolapse of the vaginal bladder, we call it as cytocele. If there is attenuation of rectovaginal fascia, we call it as what? Rectocele. Okay. So when during a labor, if there is a cystocele or rectocele, what will happen? It can block the fetal descent. Okay. And during pregnancy, the ovulation is ceased. Okay, as well as the maturation of new follicle is also suspended. Okay, now we come to relaxin. Relaxin is a hormone which is usually secreted by corpus luteum, which helpful in parturition. Relaxin also helpful in renal hemodynamics, decrease serum osmolality, and increase uterine artery compliance. Okay, now we come to in the picture you can find Theca lutein cyst, or which is also called as hyperreatoluteinales, means benign ovarian lesions. There is an enlargement of the ovaries during pregnancy. Okay, then we come to fallopian tube. Usually there is hypertrophy in pregnancy, during pregnancy. Okay, then vagina and perineum. There is a vascular prominency can be seen in the vagina, so which causes violet color, which is known as Chadwick's sign. Okay, and due to the vaginal secretion, this thick and white secretion, the pH is acidic, varying from 3.5 to 6. Now come to breast. Usually, at the early week of pregnancy, women experiences breast tenderness as well as paresthesia. Paresthesia means like burning or prickling sensation. Okay. After the second month, the breast increase in size as well as we can observe the delicate veins and nipples considerably larger and more deeply pigmented as well as more erectile, and yellowish fluid colostrum can be expressed from the nipple. And here are the stretch marks or stria gravidum. You can see in the pic. Usually, they depress streak slightly from the abdominal skin. In multiparous women, we can find what? Glistening silvery lines. Okay, the etiology of the stria gravidum is still unknown and there is no definitive treatment. Okay, the muscles of the abdomen wall don't withstand the tension. So, what will happen? Which may lead to rectus muscles separate in the midline, creating diastasis reti. We can also find hyperpigmentation. Occasionally, irregular brown patches appear on the face as well as the neck, as well as we can find vascular changes in the pregnant women. Okay, okay. Metabolic changes. Usually, during pregnancy, the weight gain. Average weight gain is 12.5 kg or 27.5 lb. Water metabolism. Minimum amount of water is 6.5 liter. Protein metabolism. The fetus and placenta together weighs 500 gram of protein. So, these metabolic changes are happening to accommodate or facilitate the development of the fetus. Okay. Then we're having carbohydrate metabolism. There is a mild fasting hypoglycemia and postprandial hyperglycemia and hyperinsulinemia. Fat metabolism. Leptin level increases and peaks during the second semester, sorry, trimester. Okay. And electrolyte and mineral metabolism. GFR of the potassium and sodium is increased. The calcium level is decreased. Why calcium level is decreased? Because the fetus skeleton everything is growing, so there is a requirement of more calcium. So in our body, the calcium is getting decreased. Okay, then iodine requirements increases. Why iodine requirements is increased? Because during okay, iodine requirements increases. Why? During the early gestations, the fetus does not produce its own thyroid hormone, so the mom only producing thyroid hormone. So there is a increased need of iodine during pregnancy. Okay, hematological changes, blood volume. There is hypervolemia associated with normal pregnancy, averages 40 to 45%, which means there is an increase in blood flow during pregnancy or blood volume is increased. Why? Because due to the developing fetus, placenta, we need more blood. Okay, so the blood volume increases, as well as the hemoglobin concentration decreases because as the blood volume increases, the erythrocytes also increases and the viscosity of the blood is decreased. So the hemoglobin concentration is like 11 something. Okay, and iron metabolism. Iron content of the normal adult woman ranges from 2 to 2.5 gram. Approximately 1000 milligram of iron is required for normal pregnancy. Immunological function. Immunological function is divided into three, like pro-immunological function, pro-immunological phase, immunological phase, as well as the anti-immunological phase. and coagulation and fibrinolysis always remains balanced. Okay, so during the pregnancy, okay, next slide will go cardiovascular system. Okay, usually during pregnancy, what happens? Our our diaphragm get misplaced or get misplaced, and the heart is going upward as well as going upward laterally and gets internally rotated. So what happens? So the cardiac output of the heart is increased because there is a muscular hypertrophy of the heart, which is also known as physiological hypertrophy. So the cardiac output get increased during pregnancy. Here, the circulation and blood pressure changes in the posture affect arterial blood pressure. Renin, angiotensin, as well as the plasma volume increases during pregnancy, and BNP as well as ANP is maintained. In heart, an exaggerated splitting of the first heart sound happens. And as I said before, the cardiac output increases during pregnancy, as well as hemodynamic function in late pregnancy is increased. Respiratory tract. I already said the diaphragm is increased, okay? Means misplaced from its position due to the developing uterus. So, airway contents increase and total pulmonary resistance is reduced. And oxygen delivery is increased due to the increased tidal volume. Okay? Due to the increased tidal volume, the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide is decreased, which may lead to physiological dyspnea, or we call it as shortness of breath. In urinary system, what will happen? Usually, the kidneys are increases in size during pregnancy. So the glomerular filtration rate, renal plasma flow, everything is getting increased. Okay, and usually, during pregnancy, the nutritions are not filtered during pregnancy. That is one of the interesting fact. And we can see the creatine level usually decreases as well as there is a ureter elongation. And in bladder, there is a hyperplasia of the bladder muscle and more susceptible to infection. Gastrointestinal tract. Usually in GI, during pregnancy, what happens is uh, there is bleeding may occur in your gums. Okay, there may be a bleeding, and even if it is a small trauma, also you will get bleeding. Okay, then okay, then in gallbladder, no, we having gallbladder contractility is reduced. Okay, so there is a formation of gallstones. Okay, and in liver, hepatic arterial and portal venous blood flow increases substantially, and serum albumin level decreases during pregnancy. In endocrine system, we are having pituitary gland. So pituitary gland enlarges by approximately 135%. So you during pregnancy, the growth hormone increases, prolactin is also increases, as well as oxytocin, and oxytocin is increased. It is helpful for maturation as well as lactation. And in case of antidiuretic hormone, it remains same. Antidiuretic hormone is also known as vasopressin. Thyroid gland. We know that thyroid gland is increased by like 40 to 100%. Okay, to meet in maternal and fetal needs. Thyroid Thyrosin binding globulin also increases. Due to thyrosin binding globulin increases, T3 and T4 is also increases. Thyroid releasing hormone is secreted by hypothalamus. Okay, if there is a high HCG, there is a high thyroid hormone stimulation. We know that iodine requirements increases during normal pregnancy, so the severe deficiency which may lead to cretinism. In where we come to parathyroid gland. Why in parathyroid gland there is a secretion of parathyroid hormone and calcitonin. Because why it is secreted? Because calcium needed for the fetal growth as well as the lactation. Okay, adrenal gland. Adrenal gland helps in the secretion of cortisol, aldosterone, and deoxycortistrone. Androgen. There is increased androgen activity during pregnancy. Interestingly, little or no testosterone in maternal plasma enters the fetal circulation as testosterone. This results from the near complete tropoblastic conversion of testosterone to 17 beta estradiol. Musculoskeletal system. Okay. During the pregnancy, lordosis is the characteristic feature of normal pregnancy. Okay. In the pic, you can see the increased lordotic curve. Okay. Lordosis shift the center of gravity over the lower extremities, which may lead to aching, numbness, and weakness, also occasionally experienced in the upper extremities. We can also find neck flexion and shoulder girdle slumping, which produce traction on the ulnar and median nerves. Okay, now we come to central nervous system, or the last part. Okay, we are going to end. So, memory, eyes, and sleep. In memories, usually we often report problems with attention as well as memory. Pregnancy does not appear to affect the cerebrovascular autoregulation. Eyes, there is a decrease in intraocular pressure, and corneal sensitivity is also decreased. Sleep, early as 12 weeks of gestation and extended through the first 2 months of postpartum, we can find women having difficulty going to sleep, frequent awakenings, fewer hours of night sleep, and reduced sleep efficacy. So thank you. That's all for today's video. And maternal and physiology somehow we finished. Next video we're having congenital genitourinary abnormalities. Thank you.